Welcome. One of the things that you'll want to do very frequently is to create boxes to style your content using a box, either to call out information or to separate it from some other content. So in this lesson, we're going to take a look at boxes, and specifically at three properties that we can use. As you can see here in this diagram, we have padding, border, and margin. Border perhaps being the most obvious one, and that has some variability. You can see here in this example I have a solid line. You can also have it as dotted, dashed, double grooved, and others. Take a look at the specification for the full breadth of options. We also have a margin, which we can use to buffer your content from that is around it. And we also have a padding as well, in addition to the content that you have. So let's go ahead and use these properties in an example. We'll start out by creating a generic container, that's a div. Inside of it, we're going to place some content. And as before, I'm just using some Latin text. And now we're going to create a style. Let's go ahead and use the class notation. We will call this one style1. Inside of it, we're going to add a border. We used a border of 10. Let's make that 10 pixels. We'll make it solid. And the color that we will give it will be gray. We'll then add some padding. And we'll make that 4 pixels. And then we'll add a margin as well of, let's make that 5 pixels. Then lastly, we'll add some background color, and this is simply so we can see the content of inside of the box. And we'll give it a color using hex. So let's go ahead. I've already created a color code that I'm going to use. And we'll go ahead and save that. Now let's go back, create a link to our to our style. And we'll remove the type since we don't need it. And our reference is the CSS file, which is box.css. Now let's apply that to our div using the class attribute, and that would be style1. So let's review. We have our div, our generic container. We've applied that to a style to it that we defined in the box.css, and we've made the reference to that file. So let's go ahead and reload here the content in the browser, and you can see there that we have the Latin text with a gray border that we've defined here. We could also, just to illustrate the change here that we could do, we could also change it if we wanted to. Oh, I misspelled green. So let me reload that, and you can see there that we have now a green border. Let's go back to gray. And you can see there also some of the other properties, the background, the margins, and the padding. Now let's go ahead and add another block of text in a generic container, but let's put it inside of this box. This is simply to illustrate what happens when you have boxes within boxes, which is something that you'll do. So let's go ahead and enter another div, or create another div. And inside of it, let's put in just the first sentence that we have here. And let's create a new style for it in our style sheet. We'll call this one style2. We will use the same, let's copy these over since we will use the same properties. We will make this one, we will leave the first two the same. Let's change this to green so we can see the difference. And when it comes to the margin, now we want to put a margin all around. So we will make it a 20 pixel margin around top, bottom, right, and left. You can see there what that looks like. Now we'll also put in some white space, and the code in hex for that is 6Fs, as you can see there. And now let's go back and add the style here. So let's do class, and the value would be style2. Let's save this, reload our file. And if all goes well, we should have a nested box. And yes, you can see it there. The background is different. This one is white. You can see the nice padding around the box, and we've nested a file, a box within another box. So let's illustrate one more simply to show that we can continue doing this. And this one I'll just copy and paste. Note also that I am nesting within the div. So at the end we have 3 closing divs because each subsequent div is inside of the parent div. So here we've defined a style 3, and I'll just copy over a style 3 that I predefined. So let me go ahead and enter that in my style. You can see here that I've made the border solid blue. I'm maintaining the same margin, and the background color in this case is silver. Let's go ahead and reload that. I haven't saved this file, so let me go ahead and do that again. And you can see there that we have a third box. So we have a box within a box within a box. Go ahead and try these. It's a little bit tricky at first. Make sure you get comfortable with the bottom, top, bottom, right, left values, that you can manipulate those comfortably. Make sure that you get your tagging the right way so that you can in fact indent or put it side by side if that's what you wish to do. Make sure you're comfortable also with the padding and the spacing to create the looks that you want. So try to recreate this example first, then try out some of your own. So with that, let me thank you for your attention and say goodbye.